Hello, Ken.
You can say hello to you. Want to see
Aha.
your video? Oh,
People are joining.
hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. While you're waiting, use the mouse and just look around. Like if in your upper right corner, you'll see speaker view or gallery view. Click on that and see what happens.
Okay.
Then down bottom, you'll see the chat. You could open the chat window. All right, we're getting up to 12 people. I think that's a record for me. I see that several of you have your microphone off. If you click on your picture, you could click on unmute if you want to.
Father, we called in by phone because the microphone on my laptop is not that good.
Phone is okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I see that
How
Rod
did you say we got?
Rod is at a different angle. All right.
Much better, Rod.
There you go.
Ah, very good.
It's 10 a.m.
All right. All right, looks like we're getting up to 14 connections.
Can't hear anything. Can't hear you.
Oh, Christina?
I see you, but I can't hear you.
Turn up your volume, but you can't hear us, can you?
What to do? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Turn on your volume if you can't hear. Well, where is it? Where is it? Hello,
Bottom,
Jean?
bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Bottom
I
left.
can't hear.
Oh, she can't hear. How can we tell her?
By using chat, so she saw
Jean is there, Kenneth.
the chat.
Can't hear.
There's the little icon that says join audio. Can we type that message to her?
Oh my goodness.
Well, we can hear her, so.
Yeah, but she can't hear us.
Can't find it. Oh, I didn't mute it.
Still waiting for Charlie Gartland to connect.
I've been on, but I got lost.
Aha.
Now I'm on again,
Okay.
or at least I see me.
Good.
It was lost, but now was found.
Yes, that's the truth.
Well, besides
We're
the
not-
chat, I also have a little bit that is saying the waiting room. Oh, he's not in the waiting room anymore, so that's good. But it looks like we're at 12 participants.
I can't see a chat room.
You're on the telephone, right?
Yes,
Are you also on the computer screen?
On the computer.
yes.
Then use the mouse, go down towards the bottom and click on chat.
No, that's not on my screen. What I've got is video preview.
Well, we
Okay,
can hear
wait
you.
a second.
Need to type your chat in.
Hello? Oh,
Now it says host will let you in soon.
Now it says, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon.
Should I admit you? There I am admitting you. All right, you're in. Whoa!
Charlie and
Hi,
Karen.
Charlie.
Charlie and Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, good morning.
Who's making that noise? Charlie, are you in twice?
Am I what?
Are you connected two different ways?
Yeah.
Well, turn one off.
How's that?
That was it. It was your phone. Yeah. Nope.
Whoops. Now we're down to 11 participants. All right.
has to speak. No, I'm done, not done speaking. Christina Vito is speaking, but I don't see you and I can't hear you.
Well, that's got to
I'm
be tough.
having a problem. Oh, well, it's not working out. Not working out.
That's strange that we can
Join
hear
meeting.
Christina, but she can't see or hear us.
That is crazy, isn't it?
I bet she didn't click on join with computer video as you're first coming in.
Yeah, that worked for me the first time.
Yeah.
Ah, somebody's waiting.
Yes, it's
Christina.
Loretta. I've been
Oh, no,
having
she's
trouble trying to get on the website.
Oh, hi, Loretta.
Who's that, Jean?
Yes.
Okay. I've been on 2 Zoom meetings before this, so I don't know why I can't get on it.
Oh, I think Father Jim has to admit you.
Everybody's admitted who tried to get in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna click on your link again and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'll just keep trying. I'm here in spirit.
Okay.
Morning here.
So while we're waiting for more people to come in, I'll just say again, use your mouse to explore. In the upper right-hand corner, it will say speaker view if what you see now is the gallery view. So if you click on speaker view, then the person who is speaking should appear. And then to go to back to gallery view, you click on the 9 dots, or if it says gallery view, then it goes back to the Brady Bunch setting.
I'm still waiting to get the Zoom window to open. It keeps giving me something that says open in Windows Explorer, and that doesn't work.
Oh, that's just a spam. Click the X
Yeah.
on the top.
Yeah, I did. I've been doing that. And now it's if nothing prompts from browser, download and run Zoom. Well, I've done that. Okay, there's another blank window. It says launching. Let's see what happens.
Sounds interesting. And then for the new people also, down, if you move the mouse towards the bottom of the screen, you see several options.
Yeah.
You click on chat, you'll be able to see the Zoom group chat
I want to
window.
see everybody. No, I just want to get my name in there. It is. Say hello. You're there now.
Nancy, we see you. We can
Okay.
hear you. Do you see
I'm
us?
with, my daughter-in-law is doing
Hi.
everything. I'm just
Very
sitting
good.
here. Right, see, I you have right here, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take that one off, that's the Kindle. I'm gonna take that one off.
All right, it looks like things are settling down. So I mentioned a couple things about speaker view, gallery view, and the chat window. The other thing I would offer at the beginning is I've been paying attention to EWTN. And if you notice how they do interviews, it's interesting, like with Father Mitch Pacwa and Scott Hahn. They didn't both talk at the same time. It was only one and then the other. They didn't even say things like yes or to say I'm following you. They would let the person finish speaking, then the next one would speak. So I think that'll work best for us as well. Just one person speak at a time. And if you want to offer your confirmation, just shake your head, but don't speak. And then when nobody is speaking, then you can speak. And if too many people are speaking, you could type something in the chat window.
Come sit here.
So, does anyone have anything they want to say or ask?
I think they
How's
have
the
a
cat going?
microphone's off, microphone off, microphone off.
How is Jean Burkle doing? Does anyone know?
Yes, Jean Burkle. So if you look at what people are posting on Flocknote, someone sent me an email. She is now on hospice.
Oh.
So I think she's still in the hospital, and it looks like that's where she'll go to see Jesus.
Whoops.
I know that the dialysis did not work. Art was hoping at least that was another option, and it didn't work, so they couldn't do the kidney dialysis. She was having kidney failure and congestive heart failure.
Thank you.
The really sad thing is that nobody can visit,
Speak. Let
which
me
is
see
the
if I
case
can
with
get
anyone
back
who's in the
in.
hospital.
I don't know what happened.
We can hear you, Christina. Go to the bottom of your screen and you'll get a pop-up bar.
Why is my video stopped?
Go.
No.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Janet.
Okay, Christina.
Driving me bananas.
She
I have
Christine-
enough on in my hands.
Christina.
Zoom.
Christina, can you hear us?
At least. Come on.
Can you
All
hear
right.
us?
There you go.
Christina, can you hear us?
There we go. Let's go back now.
Maybe I'll just mute her. All right, she's muted.
Okay.
She wants to talk, she'll have to figure out how to do it.
We called her on the telephone separately, and she said she had other matters that she was concerned about with her family.
Okay.
She has trouble finding the bar on the bottom because we've had other calls with her.
Oh, there we go.
So let me address that idea. We've been introducing so many new technologies in the last month. It's hard for me to keep up. And I'm a lot younger than most of our parishioners. And I've noticed that some people have difficulty adapting to the technologies. You're among those blazing the trails. Just think of all the people who don't have internet connections at home. All they have is the telephone. So this, besides being a time for us to talk about how things are going and what we're going to do, it's just an experiment to see if this is a good enough format for us to talk with each other. So I would just encourage everyone to be patient as we figure out these new technologies.
Hey.
Hello, Marianne.
Hi, Father. How are you?
Good.
I'll tell you, I've been having a very hard time getting the mass in the morning. I got
Well,
it
today-
today, but it took me forever to get it.
Today was trouble because, I'll tell you, I received an emergency call at 7:38 a.m. from Elizabeth Laskow. Her husband is in the hospital dying. She was asking deep theological questions about end-of-life decisions, where you want to talk for at least 15 to 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
I'm about 12. So I got down to the church late, and I started the live streaming at 8 a.m., and then it didn't work.
You know what I'm seeing, Father? And I want to bring this to your attention. When I go on YouTube on my TV and I pull up St. John's, in the box there's like an Oriental design sign next to St. John's. I've never seen that before. I've seen it the last 2 times. So to me, that's kind of weird.
Can you describe that a little more?
It's a small square box, and it has like a Oriental Chinese sign in it next to St. John's Church, and that disturbs me really.
Are there any words?
No, it's just an Oriental design. I have no idea what it means or what it says, but it's just a small box right next to St. John's with an Oriental sign to it.
Did you pull up Lakehurst, New
Yes.
Jersey? Okay.
Yes, it did. It came up. That I could see the altar. I could see. Now I can click onto it, but that Oriental sign was there and it wasn't playing.
Sounds like
I'm
I
not
seen you this morning with the ladder, and then you said good morning, and you carried the ladder over to, or the step stool,
Oh,
whatever.
you
it
saw
was.
that? Yeah.
I seen that,
Good.
and then after that, you started the mass, and then it went dead.
It did.
Yeah.
And
So
yesterday, I only got 3 seconds.
Yeah, yesterday I wound up going to EWTN for the mass.
Well, my
because,
hope is we won't have that speed problem after today, because Comcast is coming today
Yay!
to give us a faster cable modem.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
our speed will be 10 times faster. We need it at least twice as fast for it to run smoothly. So 10 times faster. Hopefully that'll be enough.
I hope so. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Mary Ann.
Hey, Father Jim, I have a question
Yes.
about the liturgy.
Okay.
While you're doing the Mass and you're offering communion, if I have a cracker in my hand, would your blessings in the
Configuration,
no, it's not it's transubstantiation.
Transubstantiation.
station, yeah.
Would that be considered communion and I could give it to myself?
It's an interesting question. I don't think I've come across that question like that. So what is necessary for the bread and wine to become the body and blood of Christ is that the priest intends for it to take place. So normally, that is the bread and wine that is on the altar that becomes the body and blood of Christ. The exceptions that I know about is when you have like a gigantic mass with tens of thousands of people. You might have another table not too far from the altar, and then the priest or bishop or pope is intending for all the bread and wine on the altar and those tables to be consecrated. But I've never heard of anyone wanting to do that beyond, say,
Right.
miles yet.
But considering our circumstances, I just wondered.
It's a good question.
I would say no, because one of the other things about the sacraments in general is that there needs to be a personal presence between the one administering the sacrament and the one receiving the sacrament. So we would have to at least be seeing each other physically and not through the media.
Right.
So that's one reason why it wouldn't work. The other with the cracker is that it's not the right kind of bread.
Just trying to make it up as I go along.
Just out
Well-
of curiosity, what would be the right kind of bread?
Matzah?
Well, we use unleavened wheat bread with no additives. It's just plain bread with not even any yeast.
Okay.
In exceptional circumstances, you could add yeast because they do that in the East. But yeah, it's not going to work with us being separated by such a distance.
I get a note here. It says, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon.
I'm sorry, my sister is calling from the nursing home. I have to sign off. I apologize.
Bye,
Bye,
Janet.
Janet.
Bye-bye.
Long, Janet.
Bye.
Hi, Pat.
Hello.
Loretta Snack is trying to join. I didn't notice, so I just clicked on admit for her.
Yeah, now it said meeting disconnected. I just got a window that says meeting disconnected.
Okay.
Now let
How
me
can
see
we
if
hear you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm on the phone. That's why you hear me.
Okay.
I tried the phone number and that worked, but yeah, now it says meeting disconnected. Try to reconnect. Oh, then I have to start all over again. Well, I could just keep starting. I have nothing else to do.
Jenna's question was very interesting. I never had that question before. I don't remember reading it. So I just pieced together answers from similar questions for that one. And the other
It came up when the choir met.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a real sacrifice not to be able to come to Mass.
It is.
Yes.
It
This
looks like
morning
it's
I
gonna-
abdicated again and I watched it on EWTN because it wasn't starting.
Right. Hopefully it'll be better tomorrow.
Good.
Now it looks like we're going to be like this for another month. Because if
Oh,
you,
geez.
Well, at least, yeah.
Governor Murphy said that schools are closed through May 15th. So if schools are closed through May 15th, I would be surprised if restrictions are lifted by then. And then even when restrictions are lifted, I think it's going to be gradual.
Well, my daughter said that, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, my daughter said, she works at community. She was in there yesterday. It's like a war zone there. It's really like a war zone there. And half of the nurses don't even know what to do for some of the people.
Oh,
Yesterday, actually, she connected a father and son with FaceTime. And they both cried when they seen each other. Yeah, it was very touching, very, very touching. She said that, that was a plus thing that happened for the day, but most of it, and then one of the nurses, it was her birthday. So the head nurse had everybody take a Post-it note and give her a gift. So like one person took her call duty, one person did something else for her. And that was really a beautiful moment for them too. And in between all the horrible moments that they're having, it's great that they're able to grab a few good moments too. But
My daughter works at Centra State in CCU. And as of Monday night, they were out of gowns.
Oh, yeah, they've been out of gowns too.
It's terrible.
They have to wear the same gown going into every different room.
Yeah.
And she's on the team now of turning the patients.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's right in with them because her cat lab kind of got closed down. They're only doing like an emergency cat. They're not doing any elective cats at all. And when I seen her on Facebook, I'm telling you, she looks so drained, so washed out. It's really taking a toll on these nurses. They're doing over and above. They really are. So
Seems like different hospitals have slightly different experiences. My chief informant for Monmouth Medical South, the old Kimball, is my sister Teresa. She's
okay.
a phlebotomist. And a month ago when this all started, she was overwhelmed. So we were spending a lot of time just trying to help in any way we could. But in the 2 weeks, she doesn't seem overwhelmed anymore. It's more like the hospital is working together, all the staff, They've got a plan. They're working hard. They're helping people. And the doctors seem to be figuring out how to treat the patients better now than what they were doing a month ago.
Right. Exactly.
Father?
And they were trying to push a lot of the Kimball patients to Brick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that because Brick is usually full.
Well, they're using every nook and cranny of space that they can use. They are. It's I think that my daughter showed us a picture of the nurses when they were giving this one nurse the gifts, and all their equipment and all their technical stuff is out in the hallway. They've made every space available for a bed for patients. So that's what I'm saying. She said it's like a war zone there. Everywhere you look, it's basically all corona virus patients.
I think at Mom's Medical South, at least a week ago, my sister said something like 70% of the patients have the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Other hospitals, it could be a similar percentage where it's like half the people in the hospital have the coronavirus.
Yeah. Well, Sunday, I have to tell you, Easter Sunday, I said to my daughter a week ago, I said, more than anything, I said, being alone and isolated is a whole different animal from just being alone. When you can't even go out or see people, And I said to her, I said, isn't there any way that we can have Easter dinner together? Like you can be upstairs on your deck. I'll go downstairs. I'll bring a table and chair. I'll be downstairs at your patio downstairs, and we can at least be together. So I said, I just can't even bear the thought of eating Easter dinner by myself. So she said, it's bothering me too, Mom. She said, let me see what we can come up with. So my son-in-law put 3 tables. They have a really big driveway. So my son-in-law put 3 tables out in the driveway. They were more than 6 feet apart. And Kenny's mom and dad, myself at one table, and Michelle and Kenny and the kids at another table. And we had Easter dinner together.
Aw, that's sweet.
It just pleased me so. My heart was full. Because Easter is always here. So it was like, I had to be with my family. I just need some kind of connection. I needed even to see my daughter because I know how sad she's been. So it was a big uplift. We pretty much ate, had a little dessert, and then left because it was starting to get chilly out even. The sun went down, the wind was picking up, but it was just so nice to see everybody. So that was Easter Sunday.
Well, we got to be careful, but I do think it's good for us to try to be clever. So what I did on Easter, after Mass and after lunch, I rode my bicycle out to Whiting. I stayed in the street, and my brother and sister came out of the house, and we're 10 feet apart. We were able to see each other since my Uncle Bob's funeral.
Right.
So I didn't tell them I was going to do that because I wasn't sure, but just seeing them.
Yes.
Was good.
Well, my daughter's main concern, she said, you know what, Mom? My main concern is I'm with the corona patients. I don't want to, give anything to you or to Ken and Karen. You guys are older,
Right, exactly.
So, yeah. So that was her main concern, but
I have to stay away.
We kept our distance.
I have to stay away from my sister because she's with the coronavirus.
Right.
If I get the coronavirus, then I can't do anything with anybody for a couple weeks.
Right. Well, I worry about her because she has to go home to her kids.
Yeah.
And and that's a concern too. But I know she has a system of how she's doing things, with trying to.
Her kids are probably safer than she is because she's older than her kids.
Yeah, I know, but kids are getting it too. Well, my grandson, with the Down syndrome, he's a little bit more compromised. So he's the one I would be more worried about, But thank God they're all doing good. So, and I'm praying crazy for everybody.
And seeing a lot about the high-risk categories, I was also thinking about what can we do to improve our chances of surviving the coronavirus on a natural level. And it seems that lung capacity is one way to look at it. So I've been trying to increase my lung capacity by running and cycling. For those of you over 48, walking might be good enough.
Yes.
Just going out for a walk and breathing in the fresh air.
And breathing, doing some breathing techniques and stuff like that, keeping your lungs open and active is really key.
Yeah.
And singing.
Yeah, singing's good.
Singing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is St. Vincent de Paul able to feed people? Are they giving out food?
So they distributed food just before Easter. Charlie Gartland knows more about it, but we're delivering food to people because we don't want them to come here. We're also not accepting food donations because we don't want to transmit any virus. Fulfill provides food to a lot of food pantries, so they provided a lot of food to our food pantry so that we could then distribute it to our people.
So is that a good way if we send donations to Fulfill, it'll help you? Or our donations go right to St. Vincent de Paul?
If you go to our website and click on donations, you can choose to donate to our St. Vincent de Paul Society.
Okay.
And they'll receive the money, and they could use the money to buy anything that they don't have in order to give to the poor.
Yeah, because it breaks my heart to see these people who can't eat.
Oh.
I mean, in this country of plenty, there's no food for these people. It's terrible.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that.
Father, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you teach me the office?
It's a good question. How many people do you think would be interested in learning how to pray the Liturgy of the Hours?
Yeah.
I would. I got this book, Father. It's called, I think this is like the idiot's version. And I cannot, and even in this simplified version, I cannot understand it. I bought this and saw all the ribbons and said, I need Father to explain. I don't even understand the ribbons.
Okay. Would you like a short answer right now?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my computer screen and then show you how to pray the Liturgy of the Hours the easiest way that I know of. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So I'm going to click on share screen. I'm going to share my screen. So now we'll primarily see my screen. What is it? divineoffice.org is the website.
I have it.
And the website, now it's also an app on the phone, so I have it on my phone, and that makes it even easier. But divineoffice.org is the website. And see, they have invitatory psalm, office of readings, morning prayer, daytime prayer, evening prayer, night prayer.
Okay.
There are 5 hours in the Liturgy of the Hours, and each hour takes between 7 minutes and 15 minutes to pray. So it doesn't take a whole hour, but so priests pray this throughout the day. Laity is invited to join. So for the first time you pray in the morning, you start with the invitatory psalm. And if you want, you can click on the play button and you can listen
Oh, wow, that's good.
to people praying it. And you can follow along with the text.
Ah, okay.
So the first thing you do is, Lord, open my lips. And the movement is a sign of the cross on the lips. Lord, open my lips. And the response, and my mouth will proclaim your praise. And you see the antiphon. You go through Psalm 95 and you're just reading the text there. So this eliminates the need to know all the ribbons, because divineoffice.org has placed it in the order that you would read it.
Ah, okay, that's great.
So the invitatory psalm is just the first part. The next part is either with office of readings or morning prayer. And I say that because you can say the office of reading anytime during the day. So if you want to do it later in the day, you would then go to morning prayer.
Okay.
What I do in the morning is I do the invitatory psalm, then the office of readings, and then morning prayer. So I do office of readings just before morning prayer. So I do them together. Now, if you want to do it 5 different times during the day, that's fine. But I usually do office of readings and morning prayer together. So then you click on office of readings. And if you've just done the invitatory psalm, you don't need to do the beginning of the office of readings. So God, come to my assistance, Lord, make haste to help me, and the glory be. You could skip that because you've done the invitatory psalm as your beginning. The hymn. I don't sing the hymns, but I read them. Now, if you press the play button, you could hear them singing the hymn. So you go through the hymn, and then again, going through 3 psalms. The text in italics, you don't have to read, but it's there to help. And you can read through it, so it's easier than using the ribbons. And then they have a little thing here about sacred silence. That's not actually part of it. It's telling you what to do. So before you do the reading, it's nice to be quiet for a little bit and just kind of let God reach you. Then a little responsory, and then a reading. For office of readings, the readings are longer. So the first reading is from the Bible. There's a responsory. The second reading is a commentary, either on that first reading or the feast of the day. There's a responsory. And then on Sundays and solemnities, there's the Te Deum. Again, you don't have to remember that because it's going to be there. Divineoffice.org has put it in there for you. Concluding prayer, and then the ending for office of readings, let us praise the Lord and give him thanks. So doing the invitatory and office of readings together, that would be 1 hour. Since I'm already in the church when I'm praying this, I then do morning prayer right next to it. Now you could just continue and not do the morning prayer, and you could have skipped the closing for office of readings, but I usually keep them separate. And you're beginning morning prayer or daytime prayer or evening prayer or night prayer. You start with God, come to my assistance, and you're making the sign of the cross at the same time. So God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Glory be, the hymn, 3 psalms, a reading, silence to meditate upon the reading. Could be for a few seconds or 30 seconds. And then with the Canticle of Zechariah for morning prayer. And then the Magnificat for evening prayer. There's a little antiphon. And then when you start the canticle, like, blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, you make the sign of the cross. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel. And if you forget the motions, don't worry about that too much because you've got almost all of it there, the text that you're reading. There's intercessions for morning prayer and evening prayer, the concluding prayer, and then the dismissal. So may the Lord bless us, protect us from all evil, and bring us to everlasting life. Amen. So as you're saying that, you can make the sign of the cross. That's morning prayer. And then daytime prayer, you would pray sometime between morning prayer and evening prayer. It could be anywhere from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you go on daytime prayer, at least on the app, there are going to be 3 different options. I haven't looked at the website. Oh.
I have that up on my phone.
You have mid-morning prayer, midday prayer, and mid-afternoon prayer. So you can pick one of those and do that. Evening prayer, similar to morning prayer in terms of the movements and the kinds of things that you say. And then night prayer. It's good to pray night prayer before you go to bed. And again, like the others, you can press play for the podcast and it'll help you go through it. And if you do want to do the ribbon placements, it tells you. So again, you start with God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Do the glory be. And then this examination of conscience. It's telling you what you can do at that time. So that's a good time to do the daily examine. You could take a few seconds, up to 3 minutes. One way to do it is to thank God the Father for all the good things of the day. And then in the second minute, to ask Jesus for forgiveness for all the sins or mistakes of the day. And then in the third minute, to ask the Holy Spirit for help with those things that you think will happen tomorrow. But some kind of examination of conscience you can do. And then you could do what they recommend here. Here's the Kyrie, then the hymn, and then it's either 1 or 2 Psalms, depending on the day of the week, a reading, and then the canticle, concluding prayer, and then the final blessing. And then here, they usually say an antiphon or song in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary. For some reason, they don't include it. So if they don't include one, you could just do the Hail Mary. And that's night prayer. So
I'm
that's
looking at the website of divineoffice.org.
Yes.
You have to register for it.
Yes.
And it has everything on it. And right in the corner here, it says 153 people are now in prayer on
Right.
this website. Yeah. And also you could buy the books.
You could buy the books, but I do find that the app on the phone. So I'm going to start sharing the screen. Now you can see me again. So on my phone,
This is what I have. That's what he's going to show.
I have the Divine Mercy app right on the phone.
Yes.
And when it comes up, you get to select which hour of the day. So right now, 10:39, it would be mid-morning prayer. And what you see on the website is there on the app, but in an even easier way to read it. So I've got this phone with me with the app. I'm in the church and I'm saying my prayers.
Oh, yes, of course. Then you could do it anywhere, even on your bicycle.
Well, I don't know if I could ride and read at the same time, but I do
Ride
walk
with
and
one
read at the same
hand.
time.
Thank you, Father, for explaining it. I was having a terrible time, but that website's going to make a big difference.
It makes it a lot easier. Yeah. Good question.
Thank you.
That could have been a separate Zoom meeting altogether. And I might do that. I might say, all right, on this particular day at 10 a.m., the topic of our Zoom meeting will be the Liturgy of the Hours.
That would be great.
That's a great idea.
So that's just an introduction of the kind of thing we could do together, where I could share the screen as I'm describing what it is that we can do.
Father, can you hear me?
Yes.
Father, I sent you or wanted to send you a chat, but I can't find a send button.
Are you looking at us on a computer screen?
Am I what?
Are you looking at a computer screen or on the telephone?
Computer screen.
And did you click on chat in the bottom of the window?
Yeah, I typed.
If you just hit return after you type, it comes up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you just press enter after you're done typing it.
I did that. Did you get it? I sent it to you private.
Yes, that's me.
It did show up.
Yes, that's me.
Well, the reason why I sent it was you need to remind newcomers about not saying, yeah, oh, right.
So what Charlie said is not to respond with saying yes or yeah. Just be quiet, because we can only have one person speaking at a time. So it's good to have that reminder. but I think as we do this more often, we'll develop the skills of how to have a video conference meeting. It's different than being in person. So the example I used earlier is watch on TV whenever there's an interview. Notice how they do it. So I was noticing this with Father Mitch Pacwa and Scott Hahn, the Wednesday night show. They were very clear. They enunciated. They spoke slowly. They didn't say yeah or anything like that. It was just one person would speak a paragraph or two, and then the next person. And there'd be also a gap between, which was longer than usual because Scott Hahn was in Steubenville while Father Mitch was down there in Alabama. So you have to wait for the electrical signal to go from one place to the other. And even at the speed of light, that might take a couple seconds with the computers to process it.
Also, Father, what you can do is do a mute all, and everybody is muted and only you're speaking, and then each individual in time will realize they can open their mic and close their mic.
I would definitely do that if we had more than the 19 participants. Like if we had 80 participants, it'd be chaotic. So I would mute all, and you would have to unmute if you want to speak. So I'm also new at running meetings like this. This is my first one with more than 9 people. So it's an experiment for me as well, running a meeting. The other challenge is that like when I'm celebrating Mass, but I also have to make sure the computer's working. So I'm doing everybody's job if I'm just by myself.
Are you able to see the computer screen?
Oh yeah, I've got the computer right on the cart, so I can see what's going on. I can't read the text on the chat window because I'm too far away, but I get a sense of what's going on.
Okay, good. I didn't know if you were able to see, like, if it stopped and there was nothing happening.
Yes, I can see if it stops, and if it stops, it's like, oh no, what went wrong now?
Yeah. I think you're doing a great job, Father. I really do.
Yes, absolutely. Father Jim, I just wanted to say, I have Verizon here in the village.
Yes.
And I was having trouble with Zoom calls and everything with our family. And I went in to set up the wireless network, and one says the number with just an N at the end, and the other says 5G. And when I clicked on the 5G connection, I was able to hold it. And I think that's a faster internet connection. So if anybody's got Verizon, check what you're connected to, because you may get a better reception. And it should be the one that has the G at the end.
Well, let's just review the ways to connect.
Shiva lives in Crestwood, or she lives in...
Somebody's talking. Mutant Gene. All right. The best way to connect is by wires. So if you've got a computer with a camera and a microphone, connect it with a Cat5 wire into your router. You don't have to worry about wireless at all.
Yeah.
And that's going to be your most reliable, fast connection. That's what I'm doing right now. Even though my computer has a wireless card, I've got it connected by a wire to a wireless access point. So we still have to upgrade the infrastructure here. And we get everything in place, it's going to be all wires in terms of the video camera will be connected by wires to the internet. So we'll have the fastest, most reliable connection we can have. So at least on our end, it'll be reliable. It isn't now, but it will be. On your end, it'd be a similar kind of thing. If you have wires, use the wires. If you don't have wires, then use a wireless connection to your Comcast modem or Verizon modem. The cell phone, just connecting by cell phone to the cell tower, would be the least reliable. Now 5G is faster than less than 5G, but the cell phone would be the last way I would say to connect.
Right.
Unless your cell phone is connected to your Wi-Fi. If your cell phone is connected to the Wi-Fi in the house, you're going to go through the Wi-Fi connection, and that'll be a good connection.
And I actually have both. My problem is that our box is in the garage.
Sure. So then use a Wi-Fi connection to the box.
Right, right.
That's
I
going to be
know.
faster.
We've thought
than-
about this before, you know,
Uh-huh.
but we'd need like a ridiculously long wire to get to the the box. So
Well, a Wi-Fi connection should be good enough. But
Yeah.
at least from our end here, we're going to do everything by wires because we want to make sure the signal gets out to you.
and I think that's a great idea because, you know, if you watch other networks, they don't seem to have that problem, and that's probably what they're doing.
Right. So we didn't have the infrastructure in place when this all happened. So I made the decision, all right, we'll do the best we can with what we have, and we'll upgrade, and it'll take a few weeks, but we'll upgrade so that people can connect reliably. And it's not just for this. I've been wanting to do this for a while because we have a lot of people who are homebound.
Right.
And they're going to be homebound even after all the restrictions are lifted. So I think it'd be great for them to be able to connect with our parish while they're at home.
Well, kudos to you for everything you're doing because it's amazing. Yeah, we can all clap for him here.
I used to be the computer guy at Donovan Catholic High School.
Oh.
So it's in my background, but that was 20 years ago. So, I'm not up to speed on all the latest technologies. So I've got to learn, okay, what do we have now? What can we do?
Father, I wanted to say I consider myself a fairly newbie to this parish, and I have to thank you so much for everything that you're doing to keep us in touch with God and connected with each other. It's absolutely amazing to me, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I imagine that a lot of you may be watching the news or paying attention to what's going on in the state or the country. And I pay some attention to the national and state news, but I'm focused on what's happening here in Lakehurst and Manchester and Ocean County. And I want to keep paying attention to what's going on with our parishioners so that whatever new things we do will be helpful to those who are our parishioners. So one of the things about our parish is that the bulletin is actually a very good way to communicate with people. It's not the case in every parish. If you've got a parish with mostly young people, they might not care about the bulletin at all. But with our parish, we have lots of people who actually read it. And I know that not everyone can do what we're doing now, but a lot of people have email. So I figured the easiest, fastest way for us to keep in touch is by email. That's why I chose Flocknote in order to get emails out to people. So it seems like that is the most effective way that we're connecting with people now. And then the live streaming, I mean, that helps too. So I picked those technologies that I think people could use right now. There are lots of other fancy things out there that's like, we don't need that here. Let's just do the basic things that people will benefit from the most.
That's good. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to say goodbye. Hope everybody's well.
Hey,
Bye,
wait, before you go, Pat, have you heard anything about Johanna Gonzalez?
She's home and she's, you know, living in her own house and very happy to be there. And, you know, every once in a while I get an email and she seems to be good. That's the good thing. She's not in a nursing home or a rehab or a hospital.
God.
She's home.
Yay.
Makes her very good.
Thank you. Tell her I said
Thanks,
hello.
I will. I will. Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye, Pat.
You too.
Bye, Pat.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Has everyone heard of the bell ringing at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays? I know in Renaissance, we've been doing it, and I know it's supposed to be countywide, and I know a lot of people have not heard about it.
I have not.
Yes,
See where they
I-
live. You know,
I- no bell, pot lids for me.
Pot lids, bells, 7 o'clock. on Wednesdays in support of all of the healthcare workers and I guess for anything having to do with the pandemic. And then at 7:15, they've asked people to sing God Bless America. People are,
Bob Edwards.
yeah. People are actually having the sound go out into their driveways of Kay Smith's version of God Bless America. It really has been nice. So if people can remember at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays from 7 to 7:02 to go out and make a little noise, you can beep your horn, you can bang on pops, you can ring bells, but just in support of everyone in Ocean County that's been affected.
I was wondering about that because we haven't heard anything, but you see it on TV.
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock, and what was the other time?
7:15, they're asking that everyone, I don't know why there's a lag, why from 7 to 7:02, and then they're waiting to 7:15, but they are. But fortunately, I mean, not to to boast about Jean, but at Renaissance, our HOA and the people here have been wonderful about keeping us up to date. We get an email every day about different activities and all kinds of stuff, but that's where the information came from. So 7 to 7:02 to make some noise in support of, every bit. I'm assuming that it's mostly for healthcare workers, but for everybody who's been affected. Wednesday nights.
That came from the mayor as an email to all of the boards in the communities. And it's to partly show our own communities that we're out there and we're all okay.
Yeah, it's really been, I mean, at least here, and I know it came from a young woman, I think she's only in her late 20s, who got together 2,000 signatures to give to the people in Ocean County. I know it's supposed to be countywide. So, I mean, it's just a little thing that we can do. And it is cute when everybody comes outside banging pots and stuff at 7 o'clock. It actually is, it's a nice thing to look forward to, too.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Just muted, Janet.
Okay.
Good. Well, I was glad to hear about what's happening at the Renaissance and the other communities. I mean, that was part of my hope to find out what's going on out there. Because most of the time I'm on campus. And the few times I leave campus to go shopping once every 2 weeks. I did one burial, and tonight I'm going to do an anointing, and then running and cycling. And I've been surprised at how many people are on the roads.
One thing that we found is I'm a little leery of buying fresh produce at ShopRite because you don't know where it's coming from. Wicky's Farm in New Egypt will package up fresh produce for you, and you can pick it up just like you do when you drive up to ShopRite and get your order. They put it in your trunk and you leave the money. I mean, that's what our deli does with Renaissance, but it's my son picked up an order for me and brought it here yesterday afternoon. So if you really need fresh fruit and vegetables that you want to make sure it didn't come from China or South America, or how many people's hands have been all over it, it's Crowicky's Market in New Egypt, and you can order online or and then just pick it up. They give you a time.
Crowicki?
Krowicki.
Thank you.
It's a 20-minute trip, but it's worth it, to be safe, be more safe with your vegetables.
Another reason is
I've been using Misfit Market. They deliver right to the house, but they are having delivery problems now. I'm not getting my weekly deliveries like I was. So that's a good alternative.
now, I've been getting the fresh produce at ShopRite, but they don't always have what I want. Like last time, I got the last bag of oranges. And I rinsed the fruit underwater. And I haven't gotten sick yet. But I'm also a little bit younger, so I think it is good that those over 48 take more precautions.
Father, to
Yes.
change the subject slightly, is the wedding off?
We cannot have any weddings or funerals or baptisms. And I'm reluctant to schedule anything until I know when this will be lifted.
Thanks.
I think
Yeah,
Ironically,
there was supposed to be a wedding tomorrow, but we can't have a wedding.
Yeah.
I
That's
keep
too
getting
bad.
emails from parents as to what if the sacraments are going to take place. I keep telling them the same thing, that everything is postponed until further notice.
So I've been thinking about this. We need to wait until Bishop O'Connell gives us the green light.
Exactly.
Gives us the green light, he's going to give instructions on how to do it. In my thinking about it, I think the restrictions will be lifted gradually. So if you look, the first bishop in the United States to lift the restriction from celebrating Mass publicly in New Mexico. I imagine in New Mexico, they don't have such big cities as we have here, but they can only have 5 people at Mass.
Wow.
That's the government restriction. Here in New Jersey, we can't have more than 10 people at a gathering, but there really shouldn't be any gatherings. So it could be the first masses that we have that people can come to. It may only be 5 or 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would recommend that it not be people in the risk categories. So with many of the first communicants, the parents and siblings, they're all gonna be healthy enough. So what if some of those first masses, family comes and someone receives Holy Communion for the first time? So that's just my speculation right now, is how we might do it, one at a time.
Right, right. That's what I thought too, that we're going to have to do it in smaller volume.
Yeah, well, we got to do, whatever we do has to be within the guidelines of the bishop and what the government says.
Right, exactly.
And lifts restrictions, we still got to be within those boundaries.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be Mass as usual on the first day. It'll be smaller masses, and then we get bigger and bigger as we see that it's safe.
Yes.
And I'd rather do
I think one of the things
people
they're
first.
I think one of the things they're afraid of is, you know, if they start lifting anything, that people are going to think, okay, let's get right back into it, and that's not how it has to be. It has to be a slow and gradual get back together.
Well, that's my concern here, because we have a significant number of parishioners who just don't get it.
Right, I know.
We still have parishioners showing up almost every day wanting to drop off food or envelopes or things like that.
Yeah.
So if we just say that we're open for business, a lot of people are just going to come, and I can't manage crowds and celebrate Mass at the same time. We don't have security guards. That's why a city environment, even though we're not city, we're still densely populated. We're going to be among the last to open up. You're going to have the Midwest opening up before us.
Yeah.
So we got to see how they do first. And if they do okay, then it'll be our turn. But we're going to be next to last. Last, New York City. New York City is the epicenter. It's the worst in the United States. We're second. We're second worst.
Yes.
So let's see what other people do, how it works, and then we'll do it.
Well, since our community is all closed, locked down, there's nobody in our management office. We have one person a day coming in until 12 o'clock who works in the office. If you want to drop off things or pick up things, there's a box for drop off outside the door, and then she goes out and picks it up. And then you come back the next day and she's got it in the pickup box. So, I mean, that's a way you could get envelopes, you know, we're using a big container, you know, like an ice chest, because that's how many people drop things off. But it's a way to have distance from everybody and still be able to pick up and drop off stuff.
So we're asking people to mail their envelopes in, not to come here, because it's a greater distance for them to drive from their home to the office. If you're just in your village, that's one thing. But when we get people coming here, they ring the doorbell, even though the sign says the office is closed. So last time I went out the other door to talk to the person from 50 feet away. And the other thing I noticed is that some people who don't get it, they want to get closer and closer. And it's like, hey, wait a second. You got that.
You just give him that sign of the cross.
So I don't know how to help people who just don't understand what's going on. That's why the restrictions are greater than they actually need to be medically. Like if everybody would just use common sense and use their reason, we probably could have been having mass with 5 or 8 people now.
Mhm.
But one of the reasons we closed the church is because a woman came in sneezing and coughing. And it's like, another time we had 3 people in the church and 2 of them were sitting 3 feet apart. So that's part of the frustration.
Mhm. I don't know, our community is pretty locked down. You look out your doors, we are not walking around. I do have a dog, I walk him once a day, you don't see another soul. So I think we've been, most of us in our communities have been pretty compliant.
Well, we have people that are walking here at Leisure Village West, but we actually got a note from the association that 5 people have been diagnosed and 2 people have passed away. So, you know, it is out there, and once we become relaxed, you're going to forget. And so you can't. You just have to be on top of it every single minute.
Yeah.
You know, almost obsessive.
And at this point, it might be 99% of our parishioners are using their reason in a good way. But we have 8,000 parishioners.
Wow.
And it only takes 1.
And there could be a few dozen people who would just not practice common sense. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to get ready for Comcast. They're coming at 12 noon or a little bit after.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I wanted this to be a 1-hour meeting, and this has been very helpful to me.
Thank you, Father.
Thank
I'm
you.
guessing we could do similar
Thank you.
things in the future.
Thank you. It was good to join you by telephone.
Yes.
Everybody stay safe.
Let's say a little prayer.
Okay.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for every good gift that you give us. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of faith. We ask you to increase our hope, to help us through this coronavirus pandemic, to help all those who do not know you as well as you would like. Fill us with courage and perseverance and patience. Please be with all those who have the coronavirus. Be with their family and friends. We ask you especially to help the Lasco family today as they discern what care to give to Harry. With all this up to you, through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. The Lord be with you.
And
with your spirit.
Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
amen.
Go in peace.
Thanks
Be to God.
Be to God, Father.
I was
Thank
wondering
you.
about doing blessings
Have a
like
good
this, but I
day.
see EW10 does it, so I figured if EW10 does it, do it.
We can do it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay,
Enjoy
see
the
you
rest of your
soon.
day.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hello, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Father.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.